Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Hayden. I'm a producer here at Fierce. And today I'm joined by Ed Park, Vice President of Strategy at Veeva Compass.
Great to meet you, Chris.
As science becomes more specialized and markets become more competitive, how should commercial teams be adapting go-to-market strategies to meet evolving stakeholder needs?
Yeah, it's a great question, Chris. So I don't think it's really more so about adapting or changing the way that we're doing things, but I'll call it maybe tweaking things here and there. So I, before you do anything, the most important thing is aligning across all your stakeholders, having clear alignment on what your goals are, what you want to achieve, how do we get there? So the tactics to really achieve those end objectives, and then what are some of the inputs along the way? So when I talk about you just need to tweak things here and there, it's really around the frequency of those alignment meetings. Across multiple sessions this week that I've been fortunate enough to attend to, there's been a lot of discussion around cross-functional teams and making sure that you have consistent alignment along the way. And I think as the market continues to evolve in terms of complexity of medicine, as well as distribution models going kind of beyond the norm of retail oral, it is really about ensuring that the teams that are involved in the process are aligning more frequently. So it's more about the cadence, not necessarily adjusting anything macro level. And then on an alignment piece, it's really going to ensure that, hey, are we all fully aligned in terms of what the end goals are? What are we looking to achieve? How do we measure success, and what does even success look like?
Right.
And then, of course, making sure that all the inputs and stakeholders are consistently aligned and getting that alignment as frequently as possible.
Yeah, it's interesting. The last people that were here, we were talking a little bit about this, and they mentioned, just the pace of technology, right? And trying to keep up with the pace of technology. And I would imagine your goals and your alignment are also constantly having to be tweaked, refined as technology speeds processes.
And I would even say technology and speed allows for potentially better visibility, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of these things that we were not accustomed to seeing in the past are now becoming more visible. So therefore, how you define success, maybe now you have the ability to get more granular or be able to see things a little bit faster, which does adjust things, may accelerate things, may require to pull back a little bit depending on what is available and what is not available. So you're absolutely right. It's a constant exercise of ensuring what is available today, what can we see, what can't we see, and making sure that you have full alignment across the board.
It's funny. It's an interesting challenge technology presents sometimes.
It's definitely is.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's not always just a magic fix.
Nope, definitely no.
So I'd be curious to hear from you, what are some critical considerations when it comes to identifying the right performance or commercial data for your organization?
I think for any organization, it really comes down to 4 pillars. So the 4 pillars, the way that I see it, are data integrity and completeness, security and compliance, actionability and interoperability, and then lastly, really the partner in themselves. So maybe I'll start from the bottom and work backwards.
Sure.
When I talk about the partner, it really is ensuring that their values, how they operate, is it really aligned to how you operate as a company? So are they working towards the same goals in terms of culture? Are they looking to continue to innovate? I think those things are really important because that speaks to how that partner is going to engage with you and whatever service or product that they provide. Now, going back up a level in terms of actionability and interoperability, it really is about the data itself. So the timeliness of it. I think we've heard a lot over the last couple of days across sessions. The market continues to change, and we really need to make sure that all of our teams from a commercial standpoint are understanding and being able to act with the most up-to-date information possible. So timeliness of the data really is going to be a key piece. And then I'm sure everyone's seen the news across the board. We're looking at constant ways that folks are looking to be more efficient, do more with less. So the interoperability is one piece that helps to make the process a lot more efficient. And then when we talk about the data itself, I talked a little bit in regards to the integrity and completeness. It's really the characteristics of the data. And I'll go into detail a little bit later, but it's really about what does the data present? What is it made of? And does that align with what you're trying to achieve? So it's really circling back to that alignment piece and making sure it's fit for purpose. And then the last piece is really around the security and compliance, ensuring that at the end of the day, is the data going to be there? Is it reliable? Is it being housed in the right way? So that, again, your team, either from an R&D commercial perspective, can continue to expect and predict the reliability of that data that you're going to be leveraging.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I love that. Now, when you're evaluating performance and commercial data, to your point, what are the characteristics that one should be looking at?
There's a whole host of them, and I'll try and keep it. Yeah, I'll try and keep it short, and I'll maybe focus on some things that I think are the most important. So really, I think the first piece is going back to our alignment piece. What are we trying to achieve? The biggest thing for any pharma company is you need to understand how your patients present themselves, whether from a diagnosis standpoint, how did they get treated, etc. So the baseline of any exercise is really going to be the visibility from a patient journey's perspective. So the characteristic of the data is the longitudinality. Are you able to see the patient from start to finish? And then that layers in the completeness component. So how much of the event can you see? Earlier, you mentioned, again, our markets are becoming more complex. Things are changing. It's no longer you just go see a PCP,
Right.
get a prescription, go to a retail pharmacy, and that's it. Yes, that still occurs, but that's not typically reflective of all markets like oncology and others.
Right.
So the completeness of the data is, does the data product that you're evaluating give you visibility into those types of nuanced areas where traditionally it may or may not have? So this comes back to technology and data making it visible, but has that been incorporated into the partner that you're evaluating? I think granularity is a big piece as well. So again, what are the things you're trying to achieve? And what level of visibility do you need to achieve those objectives? So just ensuring that the partner that you're evaluating gives you that level of visibility at the right granular level so that, again, you can do what you need to do in order to do the work. And then, one thing that everybody will always admit is no data set is perfect. There's always going to be bias to it.
Right.
There's a great session yesterday where they're talking about how no matter what, bias exists, and you do what you can with it and just understand and recognize it. So when you're looking at a data partner, just making sure that it's as representative as possible. It's not going to be 100% perfect, but is it close enough? Is it reflect how the general population is made up of,
Right.
so that the insights that you are able to generate is reflective of what's actually happening in the clinical space?
Yeah.
There's a whole host of others, and I'll try and be a little bit quick about it, but timeliness is a big piece.
Yes,
I talked a little bit about it earlier on, and again, it really needs to align to what are the key objectives that you're looking to achieve. Is it something that your teams are going to rely on to really identify a new patient, a new prescriber, or a new drug being prescribed? So you would want to see that information as fast as possible. So does the data come in a daily updated mechanism? Is it weekly, monthly? So ensuring that you've got clarity and alignment on that. Another piece really that I talked a little bit about regarding the pillars was the partner itself.
Yeah.
Right? Like the values around it. I think it's important for us to know when we're looking at the partner, is that partner aligned to what you're looking to achieve? So a lot of our companies that are a lot of the drug companies that are focusing on rare niche disease areas need data products that are a little more innovative, that are looking to really get as much visibility as possible. So it's a partner that you're looking to engage with. Are they looking to always invest? Or are they looking to change, improve, and have that product continue to appreciate, not necessarily stay static and flat, right? Because that's not going to represent the market of maybe tomorrow or a year from now. So we want to make sure that that's clear and that you're fully aligned to it.
Yep.
And then one of the last things that I'll mention is I talked a little bit about security and compliance, and I think that's a big thing. Over the last 12 months, and maybe even going into early last year, there was a lot of news around the cybersecurity attacks of what happened across Change Healthcare and how that impacted the market. From an insurance standpoint, patients could not receive the treatments that needed, etc. But from a data perspective, that had an impact as well. So it's just really understanding, how does your partner handle the data? How do they house the data? What are the processes that they have in place? Where does patient privacy sit in terms of, is it a guiding light in terms of how products are built? So I think that's a really critical piece, because that tells you whether the data that you're going to be building your strategies off of, are they still going to be there tomorrow? Is it going to show up consistently in the same way? So I think those are some of the key components of characteristics that you would want to look at when evaluating a data vendor play.
And when you do that evaluation, how do the companies do they react well to those questions, or what's the conversation like?
So you mean on the
With the
companies?
partner side.
Yeah, no, I think those are absolutely fair questions and shouldn't really be outside of the norm, to be honest.
Right,
So
right. I think so too.
yeah, so I think
They probably know it's coming.
they probably know it's coming. I do think there needs to be a little bit more of a shift towards really looking at not just the product itself, but the company overall.
Exactly.
And I don't know if those conversations are always happening in what particular format, but really you want to understand who the folks are that are actually building the product, because that's going to speak to,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, is it reliable? Is it going to consist? Is it sustainable, scalable? Because you're betting your launches with some of these data as a critical input to a lot of your strategic exercises.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a leap.
It's a leap.
So that's excellent. So if there's one guiding principle, you believe every commercialization leader should embrace to deliver both business and patient value, what would it be?
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Yeah, I think if I were to think about it, the one word that I would probably use is reliability. And I'm going to use that as broad as possible. So hopefully this makes sense to folks, but it really is about the data that I'm looking at. Is it going to be consistent? It is always going to be showing up the same way that I expect it to be. Is it going to provide me the best possible view of whatever market I'm looking at?
Yep.
Is it reflective of not only today's market, but tomorrow's market as well? Because nobody wants to go in and out and constantly have to make shifts and changes. So you want to make sure that the partner you're engaging with and whatever data product you're using is going to be reliable. So I really do think reliability is probably the best term, and not just the product itself. We just talked about it. Who is building that product, the company itself? Are they reliable? Are they going to be the ones that continue to do what's best for the industry, building the product so that, again, you can rely on their input, their outputs to be your inputs, right, to be able to do what you need to do in terms of bringing a drug to market, and most importantly, to patients as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I love it. Excellent.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today in Philadelphia. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.